City League sports fans, come on, we have a fun one here today. In the Legacy Lounge with me today are the Whetstone Braves girls track team. We got runners in the building, right? And so joining me are Katinka Moritz. Am I pronouncing that last name correctly? Good. I'm rolling right now. We got our very own Catherine Pierce in the house. And along joining them is Coach Matt Agee.
Yes, sir.
I 3 for 3 here today on names. Everybody say hello. Katina, we'll start with you. Say hello to Central Ohio, and then we'll just go down the line here.
Central Ohio, how are we doing today?
No. Coach, you don't get to go first. Katina gets to go first. We're going to go over here, and then we'll roll down the line. There we go. We'll roll down the line. Coach, you'll be second this time, Coach.
I jumped the gun.
There you go.
Hi, Central Ohio.
There we go.
Central Ohio, how's it going today?
What's up, Central Ohio?
Come on, there we go. Yes, loosen up. Everybody's got to take a deep breath for me. All right, so look, like I shared in post-show, we're just going to talk about Whetstone Track here today. We're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to share in some of your stories. We're going to figure out kind of how you got here, why you're sitting in the seats. And let's just talk. So we're just going to dive right in with it, okay? I'm going to start with the pressure at the beginning of the show. You all are back-to-back City League champions for girls track, right? So that means, and were both of you on the team as sophomores?
Yes.
So you've both been a part of the team for the last 2 years. And now, Coach, you're in your first year. First year as a head coach, is that right?
Correct.
So tell me a little bit, is there some pressure here? Is there anything running through the minds? You got these two seniors here who I'm sure want to finish on top. And so tell me about your first year and how's it been going so far?
So in terms of being like my first year as the head coach running everything, I don't necessarily feel that pressure just because, one, having Joe Monda back as my assistant has been amazing. And so having him right there, anything that I have questions about, anything I may have forgotten, like he's right there to remind me. So like having him as my assistant coach on my staff still has been a tremendous help.
Okay, so you got somebody you can lean on a little bit.
Absolutely.
Do you lean on these two as seniors any?
Oh, of course.
Tell me about the senior leadership on the team.
So the main thing is, when I don't necessarily want to say stuff to the younger ones, I make sure that they do because, again, they're such great leaders. Like, I know that the freshmen, the sophomores, anyone that's even new to the team, they look up to them so much, and they respect them. Okay. So
I'm turning right to you, ladies. So you hear that, but I'm wondering, Catherine, we'll start with you. Do you feel that? Is there pressure that goes along with being a senior and being a leader, or is that just natural? You don't even notice it?
I think it's a bit of both. I think that I have the opportunity to be surrounded by people that I feel comfortable enough to, for it to come natural for me to just be able to, go out and do my thing, and for me to support other people going out and do their thing. But I think there is always a little bit of pressure, but that pressure helps push us forward. It's good pressure.
Okay. Katinka, what do you think? Do you feel this leadership, or is it just you're just out there just normally being yourself?
I think this year we have a lot younger of a team than we usually do. When I started, we were mostly seniors. Our team was very small. So now I've got to teach a lot of the younger kids a lot of how the team works. So I feel like there's a little bit of pressure there. Okay. But just like Catherine says, I feel like as long as you're working hard, I feel like it's pretty easy to, get by stress-free and just put in the work.
So I'm gonna keep it with you two young ladies here, right? Because I'm curious now. You all both have been a part of a championship team for the last 2 years. When you were sophomores, 10th graders, right? Who was a senior that maybe shared a comment or advice with you? Maybe you don't remember their name, but is there something that a senior or one of the leaders on the team then maybe were able to demonstrate, or that you remember that was beneficial to you? Either one of you, I don't care who. This is an open one for y'all because I'm curious now, because you all are on the other side, right? And not many students get an opportunity to be a part of a program that possibly wins 3 championships in a row, right? And so I'm curious as to what experience you had as sophomores yourself.
I think when I was a sophomore, I think we had one of the strongest senior classes that we've had. We had like 4 really memorable seniors. So we had Kiefer Young, Wyatt Starkey, Maitland Neff, and then my older sister, Anook. Okay. They all led by example, which is what I try to do now. So they were just hard workers, and it showed. So, yeah, those are the people that probably helped me be the leader and the athlete that I am now.
All right. What do you think?
So I've got 2 people. My sophomore year, it was my older brother, Malcolm. having my sibling on the team really helped me just kind of relax and keep it natural. And I'm going to take it back to my freshman year. Matea, she was awesome. She was...
What's her name?
Matea.
Matea, okay.
Yes. She
Everybody
was
shook their head at you. I don't know who Matea is, but she must be amazing.
She was awesome.
Like
she was
everyone's head just nodded in unison just now.
When you came
Matea,
in...
wherever you're at, hello.
She was just like that one, like, you know, when you get in high school and you see these seniors and you're like, oh my gosh, that's what I want to be when I grow up. That's the type of senior I want to be. Like, Matea was that girl.
Wow, good for her. Okay, so you all have had sibling kind of role models, both of you, right? You had an older sister, you had an older brother that were on the team, and then obviously whoever Matea is, right? Everybody vibes with Matea because you all in unison shook your head. So, Coach, now you've been a part of the program. You've seen this kind of transition. What's the difference for you now being in the head seat, though? When, like, you know, I know you said you got somebody you can lean on, but is there a difference that you feel, or things that you think you need to do differently?
Not necessarily that I think I do differently. Like, I think from when I've started, like, my coaching style has remained the same. I think it's more of just...
What's your coaching style? Come on, we're putting you... This is the hot seat here today. What's your coaching style when you say that?
So I think that my best trait as a coach is my ability to relate to the kids, because I'm 31, not quite 32 yet. My birthday is on Saturday, though, so I'm almost there. But no, just being able to relate to them, and also just being my true, genuine self. Like, especially for the kids that see me in school, like as a counselor or even as their track coach and outside, like a lot of them would just say, you're the same person, like no matter where you are. Okay. And that means a lot to me, because that's just who I am. I'm just me. Like, I'm never trying to be anything more than I'm not. But at the same time, I'm also trying to instill the work ethic and mindset that I had as an athlete into now my coaching practice.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna bounce from both of you young ladies are multiple sport athletes, right? Those who are regular listeners to the show, I call you all the 7 to 7 kids. And that just means you typically start your day at 7 o'clock in the morning, and you're probably ending most days around 7 o'clock at night with practices. And you just do that for a year long. I always find students that can manage that and handle it well, especially for you all as honor students. I always find that remarkable. I'll just be very honest with you, because a lot of kids struggle with that. So what's the trick? You know, we'll start with you, Katinka. What's the trick of being able to shuffle being a student athlete and also being able to give the attention that you want to your grades and being an honor student?
I think doing the CCP program, so I'm at OSU, gives me a lot more time to do work and study, but I also work 30 hours a week. So my day is like 8 a.m. to 11 p.m., but I have a nice...
You have a job?
2 jobs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I have like a good 3-hour chunk in the middle of the day before practice that I get all my work done and I study. So it's just balancing and making priorities during the daytime so that after that I can focus on practice and work at night.
Okay. Catherine, what you got? What's the trick? Come on, give us the special sauce. What is the trick?
For me, it's just having fun.
Okay.
I like working out. I like sports. I like coming to practice. It's just, for me, it's an outlet.
You play. You sound married every season.
Yes. Every season since freshman, since COVID actually. So 7th grade. It's been a hot minute.
So you all like, we're slowly like moving from the last of our COVID babies, right? And I say that in the purest sense of a comment, because we, like early on when we would have shows, every student that came in was like, hey, COVID but you all are 7th graders, so you're kind of the last little group where sports in middle school and life, not saying that the younger students weren't affected, but they weren't necessarily athletes in the realm of school athletes. So ever since the 7th grade, you've been doing three season sports?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
So having fun with it really just helps me to, relax and be myself and just have a good time. Wow.
I mean, we hear it, and then here you all sit. You balance things extremely well. You're talking about, you guys are in school and you're taking classes at OSU and your College Credit Plus, and you're all these different experiences that you're having. So is track either of your first sport?
Track is definitely my first sport.
Track is your first sport, and I'm curious to hear. Come on, I'm wanting to hear what you're gonna say.
My very first sport, I don't even think I could remember.
No. I don't mean the first sport you ever done. I mean, is it like your first? Is track your first love? Is track your love sport right now?
Yes.
Okay, because you play volleyball, you play basketball. But is track where your heart is at?
Yes.
Okay, track is so we got 2 track people in the room right now, right? What events do you run?
I run anything distance.
Anything
But
distance.
I started as a sprinter my freshman year, so I've done every single event but
And
2
hurdler.
events. Yeah, and I did hurdles.
We're
But right
going to
now,
get to that
distance.
with you
Yeah.
as well, Coach, right? So you started off, you were doing sprints, now you're doing distance. So you say
Yeah.
anything distance starts with what event?
So-
what is that 800 and above?
400 and above.
400 and above. So you run the 4.
4x4, yeah.
4x4. Catherine, what do you run?
I do all the sprints.
Do all the sprints. So we got the
104.
balance here, right? We got the yin and the yang, scoring points in both. So you're doing the 1, the 2. Do you do the 4 also?
You know, this year I'm actually leaning a little bit towards it. I've been doing the 4 more
Hey,
often.
did you see Coach just
It's,
now?
Yes.
I can't tell you how
I've
happy
been
he
pushing
is.
back. I've been
When I
pushing
said
back.
4, his head started shaking.
Freshman
He's
year,
like,
I
"Come on, do the 4,
hated
do the
it.
4."
Oh, I hated the 4 so much. But this year is growing on me.
I can only, hey, look, I can only imagine. I've shared this story multiple times. I don't know how anyone runs around the track in the 4 or the 2. Those are way too long of a race for me. I had a niece who ran. This story has been told many times, but she wanted to race me when she was in high school. We were doing the 200. She gave me 100. She gave me a lead of about 100 meters, and still somehow when we got around the curve, she walked me down. So I'm like I'm completely away from the track. Coach, you jumped in. What do you see in Catherine that made you get excited when I asked her about the 4?
So the 4x4 is arguably my favorite event
Okay.
to now coach. Not running it. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
I hated being in it too, but
All right.
just being able to watch Catherine specifically anchor at times, like,
Yeah.
and also now not hate it like she used to. If
Okay.
I had her running your sophomore, junior year, like I probably shouldn't talk to her for the next like 24, 48 hours.
got
I'll
you.
see her
Yes,
on
indeed.
Monday after the meet.
Yeah.
But like now, no, she's actually asked to be in it. I'm like,
Wow, okay.
I never thought I'd see the day.
Yeah.
But no, I love it.
Okay. So, Coach, I read in part of your notes, you were a track and football kid in high school,
Correct.
right? And you were running hurdles. You were a hurdler.
Yep.
Think back. Give me a memorable experience for you when you were a kid. What jumps? Is there something that jumps out at you?
Oh,
Well, in hurdles, I'm talking about,
Yes.
not necessarily football. I'm just in hurdles.
definitely, it would have been the regional meet my senior year. Kind of going in.
Are you an Ohio guy? From Ohio?
Yeah,
Okay.
Bellevue High School
Bellevue
up
High.
north.
Okay, up
Yep.
north, Bellevue High, and you're running regionals. And tell us what happens.
Yep. So kind of going in, I knew I was about seeded 5th or 6th. So like I knew to get to 4th, I'm gonna have to beat some people I have never beaten in my entire career.
Okay.
And so, meet comes, very well prepared for it. I end up running my fastest time I ever had, got 3rd, beat 3 more people than I thought I was going to.
Yeah.
To punch my ticket to the state meet, and that was just by far the, greatest feeling I've had within sports.
Okay.
For sure. So that was a special moment.
So let me ask you, how has that experience that you had as a kid and a runner, and according to your own sentiments here, you're not that old, so that wasn't too long ago for you, right? And I say that jokingly.
2011.
How has that experience helped you be able to foster your coaching with students who maybe have those same dreams to make it to state? How? Because you made a comment just now, which I thought was very interesting. You said you were well prepared. How did you know you were well prepared?
So the week of practice leading up, working with my coaches of like being honest with them of where I thought my deficiencies were and what I really thought I needed to get better at, which was my start at the time. But then also my head coach was he's a firm believer in visualizing.
Okay.
So whether it be the night before, day of the meet, right as I'm warming up, just visualizing and going over and over and over of me running that entire race, how it's going to look. Or, if something goes wrong, how am I going to respond? To then, the point of that is then come race time when you're in it, you've rehearsed that moment in your head so many times that now you're not thinking anymore. You can just react and just run.
Do you share that with your athletes? Are you all in practice doing visualizations? Are you sitting there, or is that something that you share with them and ask them to do on their own?
I would definitely hope that neither one of them would say, "I've never heard you say that before." But no, I really like to just make sure that they communicate that to, the younger freshmen too. Because again, the earlier you can kind of start thinking about that and doing that visualization, the more it's just going to become more natural.
So he spoke pretty boldly on that one. Catherine, is that something that you all have heard Coach talk about a lot? I mean, when he's saying visualization, is that something that enters into your own preparation?
Yeah. So last year, I want to say it was a regional meet too. Yeah. I took myself back, away from the track, away from where everybody was. I found a corner and I just sat and I closed my eyes. I didn't even have headphones on. I just sat and I thought about the race.
Let me pause you for a moment. So I just think your generation, I don't mean this in any bad way, I think you are born with headphones on. So to hear you say that, it tells me how significant
it's hard to take them off. It's hard.
Every kid I see has, I'm like, so if I could have invested in headphones a long time ago, if I would have known this was coming, I would have, right? Because you all just they're just a part of you. So you're not even headphones on. So this is a serious visualization moment here. So go ahead. I didn't mean to stop you. Go ahead. So you pulled away. And
I sat and I just thought about the race for a solid 5 minutes. I put my hands, like they were before the start, just to get that, help me with the visualization. Yeah. Just so I could feel comfortable and just prepared despite, all the pressure and everybody out there.
Well, let me share this. That's a different level of athlete maturity. Not many kids can do that. I'm just going to share that with you. So pat yourself on the back when you leave out of here, right? Because, in every sports, you hear coaches yell out lock in or get focused or whatever that's supposed, right? Like every coach uses these same terms and words, but every athlete has to process that on their own, right? So for some, locked in does mean having the headphones in and whatever it may have been, right? For others, it is pulling away, but to have that knowledge for yourself to say, hey, look, I need this moment. Let me lock in and kind of visualize where I want to go. Is certainly a level of athlete maturity. So pat yourself on the back. Katinka, let's turn to you. Do you hear Coach making these old visualization comments, right? We're putting Coach on the spot here a little bit today. Have you heard this obviously before?
Definitely, yeah. I do a lot of visualization. I also talk with my teammates a lot at practice about exactly how we're going to race each race. So we talk about the 800, how fast we're going to take out the first two and then how much we're going to kick the last two.
Take out the first 200 meters.
Yeah. So
I thought you were talking about opponents. Opponents when we're running past them. Take out the first 200 meters.
So we talk about our race plan a lot, which helps us visualize everything. So being able to talk with your teammates is another way that I visualize a lot.
Okay.
So discussing exactly what splits we want to hit the goals that we want.
So in distance races, when you hear those splits, is somebody yelling this out to you when you say, how do you know you're hitting the split? Is that the coach's job? I don't know. I'm asking.
Yeah. So we have Monda who takes split at every 400. And then obviously you can also see the clock, which helps.
Oh, okay.
So it's really helpful to keep in mind. I wouldn't be able to run the races I run without hearing my splits and just going without.
And as a sprinter, that doesn't even come into your world, does it?
We don't. You can't even look at it.
Yeah, you're moving
you
so fast.
straight line,
right?
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to balance those two, right? To be honest, so I think that's the beauty, of the different types of races that you see in track and field, because when you're sprinting, you don't have that split second that maybe you might make to an adjustment where you're looking at someone, or if you hear a distraction, that could be the difference maybe in winning or losing. Is that a fair comment?
Yes, I think I told you this yesterday. Sometimes I'll be so focused on running that I forget to breathe. And then I don't realize I'm not breathing until after the race. And I'm like, oh my goodness, why am I breathing so hard? I forgot to breathe the whole race.
So during that, is that something that you kind of also have to practice? Do you practice that as a process to make sure you're breathing through the different points of the race?
Yes. Okay. It's at the start, you have to remind yourself in your head, get out fast. And then once you get out, you remind yourself, take your 3 steps and then get in your drive phase and then look up and then push. It's you just have to have that constant reminder and it's like a checklist in your mind.
Almost like just doing it like a routine almost. Okay. Coach, as you sit here, how many other seniors do you have on your team this year that's helping because as a new coach, seniors I share this with coaches all the time, seniors can kind of help carry the load. So if you can get buy-in from your seniors early on, then I think you can have a level of success. How many seniors do you have? And do you think that, now I'm putting them on the spot, do you think you have their buy-in?
Oh, 100%. So that we have 7 captains total, not all seniors, but then total seniors on the team.
And I'm not trying to trick you. If you give me a ballpark number, I don't want you to run through and have to say who's
15.
who.
Yeah, I was going to say 15 to 17.
Seniors?
Yeah.
Oh, well, hold on now. You all started
that's
off
boys
this-
and girls. My bad.
Boys and girls.
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say,
Girls.
because you all start off like, we're such a young team. We don't have anybody.
girls.
No, we do
Girls,
have
I
a
think
lot.
we have
We've got a
7
lot
or
of
8.
freshmen.
7. Okay, so that still is a good number then. Okay, so 7 or 8 seniors. You've got buy-in from these two young ladies here. What would be the like if you were away from practice and they were speaking to some of the younger athletes, what would be like the one thing you would love that you know they're going to say? What's the message that you're hoping they're sharing? As you said, you lean on them. What's the message that you're hoping they're saying to younger athletes on your team?
Finish through the line, telling them that for sure. But for the sprinters, for sure. But no, beyond that,
and for non-track people, what does that mean? Just continuing to run your hardest all the way through the finish line?
that means I don't want to see you slowing down until 10 meters after that line.
10 meters after
Finishing
the line.
through it,
Okay.
yes.
So the 200 is really the 210 meters. The 100 is the 100. Is that
Correct.
is that
Yeah,
a common
absolutely.
thought process?
Yes.
Okay. So finish through the line.
Yes. And then I would say, well, go back real quick because I don't want to miss this point, but you had asked me about like this senior class and with me being a first-year head coach. Truly, like this would be the senior class that I would have handpicked to like be with me on this. And I say that because, their freshman year, that was when they were runners up, missed that by, if I'm not mistaken, 12 points.
Okay.
Very close. And then, them being the cornerstone of these past 2 championships, like this class would be the one that I would want to be able to show those younger grades of just kind of,
This is how it's done.
exactly.
Were both of you on the team as freshmen also?
Yeah.
Oh wow! So you've had quite the experience. Then you've seen runner up, and you also have seen championships. I want to dig into for a moment now, like your track beginnings. So Catherine, I'm going to save you for a second. I'm going to save you for a second on this one. But share with me, like when did you get involved in track? What's your journey? What does it look like? Where does it begin?
I started track in 7th grade with sprints.
Okay.
It was mostly because my sister did track. My sister ran distance, so I was sprinting and did hurdles up until sophomore year when I joined cross
How many
country.
siblings?
I have one older sister. That's
Just one,
it.
just you and one older sister.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's kind of the influence of,
Definitely.
Hey, get on out here and run a little bit.
Yeah. And then I joined cross country my sophomore year and then ended up switching over to distance and track for the rest of until
Okay.
now. Yeah.
So who got sister into track? Just as a quick curiosity question.
I think we're just bad at other sports, so we ran.
Okay, you said, hey, let's
That's
just figure out
that's
how to
what we
run.
did.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that. Catherine, your story is different. You come from a family of athletes. Your older siblings played. You were athletes. Your parents were athletes, right? So how does track begin for you?
Track probably started in elementary school. My dad, he used to just take me out to the track and just have me do drills that he did over the summer. We would just go to independent meets. It would be me just in my little get up, just running against all these AAU girls. And that kind of started. And then
So you weren't even in a club. You weren't with the AAU club. You were just kind of like Catherine and Dad team.
it was
Show up
literally,
and
Catherine,
go
let's go up to the track real quick. And we would just
wow.
run. So yeah, it started like that. And then I joined the team in middle school to run with Dominion and then now at Whetstone. So yeah.
Okay. So, but and I think you left out a nice part to that is that your dad also ran track, right? He was a college track
Yes,
athlete.
he ran track for OSU all 4 years, and then he ran a little bit professionally after that.
So that's pretty much. I mean, like you had some pretty decent in-house coaching as well, right? Is that fair to say? So just I'm always curious. So I have children also, and sometimes they listen, right? for when they watch, sometimes they listen. So and I say that. Did you find yourself being willing to listen to Dad? Did his resume of track help win you over as a, because I know it's not easy for you. So I'm like, and Dad gets to watch. So I'm putting you on the spot a little bit with this question. But did you were there ever moments of frustration? And I'm sure there was some. But did you find yourself okay? Hey, Dad knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be honest. For a minute, it was like, Dad, I'm not going to do this drill. Like, what do you have me doing?
Right.
But then once he beat me in a race, it was kind of like, okay, yeah.
So he had to win to prove a little bit that I know what I'm talking about.
He schooled me a little bit. He did. He claims he's always, well, not claims, because he was the fastest man in the world at one point in the 400. So he does have a very, very
400
long.
was Dad's event?
Yes.
And we struggling with you on the 400
yes,
right now?
I know. That's why I'm leaning into it. I'm leaning into it.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
But now there's definitely a yes. I 100%. I take all the tips and tricks that he has for me because I see what he's done and I know that it's all just for my benefit.
So I shared in pre-show that there was no curveballs, right? But I'm throwing a curveball to you right now. I'm just curious to see what you're going to say. You and Dad right now in a race. Who can win? Who's
you know,
win?
I would put money on me. You know, I'm confident. I
love it.
I can't let that old man school me. You know, I gotta show out. Races? You know, yeah, all three sprint races. All three sprint races.
Practice? Does he come around sometimes to just watch? I don't know. Or is that something that? Do parents watch track practices? Because I will share with you, parents watch basketball practices for some strange, odd reason, right? All the time. So is that a thing for parents, Coach? Do you see parents? I mean, I don't know. Is there any joy to watching it?
I would always welcome it, but I guess typically it's probably
I'm just wondering if is there any joy to? I mean, I don't know. Is there any joy to watching the track practice?
I think all the joy is in the meets.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Okay. So before the season ends, Coach arrange. Let's get like after you guys get through regionals and states and all this fun stuff, get Dad out there one day and let's see if he can dust off his spikes and then that way we'll at least have like a Whetstone story for the history books, right? Even if Dad wins. We're saying right now on air, the story will always be that you won. So don't worry.
I always win.
You always win.
So they keep a lot of the kids have been saying that we need to do a coaches relay versus students, and I don't know how far Joe Monda can run anymore. Yeah. So, if I need a sub, I will gladly take Catherine's dad.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't know. Coaches need to be careful on stuff like that, right? Because that was the same trick that I got looped into when my niece said, oh, yeah, we can run and blah, blah, blah. And then next thing I know, she said, I'll even give you 100 meters. I'm thinking to myself, there is absolutely no way she's going to beat me. And lo and behold, but when I came around the curve, a hamstring or something became tight, so I had to stop for a little bit, right? So that's what we're going with in this particular story that's out there for the world to hear. So now tell me a little bit about a typical practice. Have you changed much, Coach, in practice, or have you kept some of the same traditions that you kind of established or that were established before you arrived?
I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, but I think the only thing that I really changed was that instead of doing a 2-lap warm-up, I just changed it to 1 because me being a sprinter, I never wanted to run 2 laps. And I'm like, you know what? 1's good. And the funny thing is, all the sprinters are like, oh, they couldn't have been happier. But then half the time, a lot of distance kids, they still do their 2 laps anyways because they want to.
Okay.
So in my mind, it was funny because I'm like, this is going to save some time, cut it down. It really hasn't. So it was ironic to me. But besides that, I thought everything that we kind of had in place was, exactly.
Yeah. So let me share, before you walked in, and so by the time this show airs, we don't air on the same day, which is fine. But today, for those of us, when you're listening to this, the overcast is a little bit chilly and maybe there's going to be some rain today. So when you hear this episode, I asked your 2 athletes here, I said, hey, so what will practice be like today? Is it like canceled or indoors? And they were like, absolutely not. So track practice, running track in Ohio means running on a day like this, which is maybe a little bit chilly and windy and rainy. There's no time off, Coach? There's no practice off on a day like this?
So as they both know, a lot of meets are going to be like this. So you have 2 options. You either practice in it to be prepared for it, or you avoid it, and then come the meet time, you're not ready.
But what do you all think about that when you hear that, Katinka, we'll come to you first. When you hear that about practicing in a day like this, what does that kind of say to you?
I mean, it definitely shows resilience. We had a meet on Friday and it was under 40 degrees.
That's one of my favorite words right now. Resilience. Yes, indeed. So I'm sorry, you were saying you had a previous meet this season?
Yeah, so it was under 40 degrees, and then once the sun set, it was completely freezing. So it's nice to have kids prepared for this because a lot of people come underdressed. They don't warm up right. So it's good to practice it beforehand.
What do you think about these practices in the cold, chilly track meets? I can't remember who we had on the show. It might have been, I think it might have been Moshe Robinson. But she was saying she chose to go and run track in college, I think maybe like at Texas or something like that, because she said she had a track meet and it was snowing in Ohio, right?
Yeah.
So how do you, like, you hear this philosophy, prepare in the weather no matter what, because this is what's going to get you ready for a meet. Is that cool? Is that cool for the seniors?
Yes, I definitely agree. And what they both said, it adds to that resilience and that preparedness that you have. And honestly, after you run a cold meet and you get home and you're finally warm, it's like the best feeling ever.
Okay. All right. Cold meet, get home, a little bit of soup, maybe everything to warm the bones up. I will share this. First off, you two have no idea how excited I am to hear you use the word resilient. And I say that because I've sort of been on my own crusade. I've shared this on the show. But one of the things that we've done poorly, all the adults, I'm calling me out, coaches out, everybody involved with helping be a part of your growth journey as kids, we haven't taught you all how to be resilient. We've taught you how to quit, how to give up. The first time something is hard, go the other direction. And so I think there's this handful of us out there in the world who are trying to say, like, hey, you don't have to always fold at the first sign of adversity, right? Like sometimes you got to dig in and you are you are capable of way more than you could ever imagine. Trust me. I mean, we all go through it, and you'll find that out about yourself just in life in general. But to hear you all use the word resilient is just, I mean, like it is certainly a smile point here today. We're gonna veer a little bit away from track for a moment. I want to get in and we're gonna talk a little bit about your lives. So you're both planning to head to Ohio State next year, the Ohio State University as students, right? Mm-hmm. Smiles on your faces here as I share that. And so Katinka, we'll start with you. You want to study like public health or
public
something?
Health.
So what is that? Give us a little nod. What's public health? Where does that do? What's public health studies?
It could be a lot of things. It could be policy, it could be epidemiology, but I specifically want to work in community nutrition. So I used to be really interested in nutrition, and then I kind of veered out when I started getting into dietetics. That wasn't really my thing.
Okay. So
then I moved into public health because I was really interested.
This is the STEM part of the show here, ladies and gentlemen. Right? We're not done, Kathy. You smile. We're not done, right? So you want to go into public health, and then see where that takes you, right?
Yeah. So I'm really interested in like food equality, especially living in Columbus. We have a lot of diversity across the city, so not everyone has access to food as equal as I do. So I want to work to create, nutritious equality.
I love it. So, and Catherine, you're like, I think like even from the first time I saw you as a student athlete, you seem very strategic. And I don't know, has anyone ever said that to you, that you appear to be a strategic thinker? Like when I watch you, you seem to approach things. You're like trying to think it all the way out. And so I don't know, but you want to go to OSU and study what?
Architecture, yes. So I really just love the way that like spaces come together, the way things look, the way our communities look, and just buildings in general, just the history, the culture of them. So I really want to just study and dive deep into that.
Do you find yourself like thinking as a builder? Do you like to like? I feel like you build your processes. Like even when and I've seen you both compete a handful of times in events. But your approach seems very strategic, like you're building on something. The times that I've watched you, would you say that that's a part of your process, or is that not even, the two ain't even in the same world? Are they in different worlds for you?
Yes, I've had a lot of people tell me that I'm a very like methodical thinker. When I approach things, it's just easier for me to like break them apart and just look at them at each different aspect. So then it just makes me feel better. The parts to a whole.
Yes. Yeah. Because I get a chance, I'm lucky and fortunate in this role. I get to see a lot of different student athletes at all levels, right? And whether it's wrestling, I mean, I remember there was a young kid who would wrestle, and his approach was like, what's there's a Sesame Street character that was kind of like a monster or something like that. I don't remember the character's name, but this kid like did so much to get pumped up. And I remember thinking to myself, like who's going to want to wrestle against him? Like you lost before you even started against it because he had so much energy, and there's so many different processes, and I wonder how that maybe connects to a choice when you say, hey, this is what maybe I want to study in something like architecture. Coach, what's been the most rewarding part of this first season here as the head coach? Even though you've been with the program, is there something that jumps out at you?
So far for this year, I would say probably just being able to see because again, we have so many new runners, seeing them just click and get along with our returning team has been really cool to watch. But also just getting to watch, the entire senior class just kind of experience their senior year and just kind of go through these things. Being able to experience being captains. Certainly.
I'll turn to you, young ladies, as you are approaching the end of your senior year here, and sometimes that can be a little bit bittersweet. I've shared multiple times on the show my senior year in high school, last basketball game. I cried. There's nothing wrong with it, right? You know what I mean? Because it becomes such a part of your routine in life. You know what I mean? And then at some point, whether it is a state championship or whether it is some other point in the season, it kind of all comes to an end. So as you look back on it here a little bit, without projecting, I'm not putting any pressure on you on what you want to accomplish still this season. But as you look back, are there any fun memories for you?
I think my best memory is when we broke the 4x8 school record last year. I think it was with a team of 3 other girls that are like some of my closest friends. So it was probably one of the most emotional races I've had.
Nice.
We beat out the team in 5th place to make it to regionals barely by less than a second. So we were like crying on the finish line, cheering for our teammates to make it across.
Yeah.
So that's probably my best memory from track and field. Yeah.
Catherine, what about you?
I think it would have to be both the city championships, having everybody there and just committed and prepared. And then when we finally won it, we all take that lap around, even though we've been running for all day, and then we got to take one more lap.
Yeah.
But it's just...
You got to take the champion route. You know what I mean? You got to take the championship lap. Yeah.
It's just something that it brings us all together, and we all go to like Roosters afterward, and we eat and we just talk, and it's just the atmosphere and the vibe is just awesome.
Yeah. One of the things that I love about athletics is that you get this kind of like rare opportunity to build these amazing memories. Even if it's not on the winning side of it, right? The memories are so unique for you. You get to carry them for a lifetime. You all are ambassadors for the work that we do here in Columbus City. You all are amazing. And you'll look back and you'll remember these moments, right? And so we're kind of happy to just be a part of your journey as you transition along. I told you our time goes by quick, and I still look and I say, hey, man, we have some other things that we could still maybe touch on. But I'll start, Coach will go with you, and then we'll go to the seniors. We're going to let the seniors run the show here today,
it's
right? We'll let the seniors run the show. Coach, anything you want to share that we didn't touch on today?
A couple things that stood out. So when you mentioned that you loved how they talked about resiliency.
Oh, yeah.
I think a big part of where that kind of started for both of them, at least like for Whetstone track, was so their freshman year, we were in the process of getting a new track. Well, that stopped and we did not have a track.
Okay.
So for that whole season, practicing without a track was extremely challenging. And I mean, they had to learn how to adapt. They had to learn how to be resilient in terms of just adjusting workouts. But that also plays into one of my first and favorite memories of Catherine, of when she kind of first came on the scene as a freshman. Because again, without a track and being able to sprint fully, I didn't really know how fast she was.
Yeah.
And then it was very first meet of the year at Upper Arlington as a freshman, won the 100. And that was my she's fast.
Yeah.
And again, I didn't fully realize it because we're running on grass. We're doing all these different things. But yeah, that was.
And I share with people, don't lose your thought though, but I share with people, there's a difference in being quick and being fast. So you can be quick in basketball, you can be quick in tennis, or you can be quick in some other sports, but to line up and be able to just go, there's a difference. So you were saying you see that out of her as a freshman, and then now
that's a big meet. That was.
Yeah. So now you sit here 4 years later, and you still got the luxury and the benefit of being able to sit next to these two fine athletes.
Oh yes, I mean truly it has been an honor being able to coach both of them, and like just especially getting to know who they are as individuals outside of track. Like as much as they've accomplished on the track doesn't even really compare, and I mean this in the best way, of just who they are as individuals.
Nice.
And I truly mean that.
Yeah. Good coaches, or I shouldn't say good, great coaches also learn from their athletes. And when you get to that point, coaches, all of you that are listening out there, when you get to that point, you know it. And some coaches never get to that point, though. And I'm not saying you can't be great without getting to that point, but great coaches, they understand that there's some things I can learn from my athletes as well. Catherine, we'll turn to you. Anything you want to share? Any shout-outs you want to give? Anybody on the support team? Because we give shout-outs. So I don't know if y'all have ever watched the show, but we give shout-outs on the show.
Of course. Well, I don't want to name the whole neighborhood, but, of course, shout out Whetstone, shout out my family, shout out Mom, Dad, Andrew, Malcolm, Michelle. But, my thing would just to be have fun.
Okay.
I think
love it.
Often people, especially with track, since it's such an individual sport, you get so caught up on your performance and what you're doing that we lose sight of go out and have fun.
Yeah.
High school. It's my last year, my last little hoorah. I'm here to have fun, guys.
Yeah.
And I want other people to see that and just to be excited to step on the track.
Yes, indeed.
When you see other competitors, just to be have that little friendly competition. Girl, I'm about to beat you.
Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, we're still going to be cool after that.
That's right. Well, and that's the beauty. I've shared this before, like in track and some of those individualized sports, whether it's swimming, whether it's track, whether it's wrestling. I didn't realize this until I got a little bit older, because I always basically played team sports. And I'm not saying track is not a team sport, but it has this kind of uniquely individualized component to it. It's simply what you're speaking to, and you get the moment of it's like me against these other folks lined up right here next to me. You know what I mean? And you can't hope a teammate passes you the ball. You can't hope that a teammate sets the screen for you. You just have to perform, right? And so to hear you speak to that as a moment and the competitiveness that it takes to be able to do well in this sport certainly hits home. And then obviously coming from a big family, a lot of support, right? I mean, I've seen your parents out before at your games and at your meets. And so it's nice to have people you can lean on sometimes to say, hey, look, you know what? Because tough days can certainly be difficult if they're tough if you're by yourself. So I appreciate you sharing that. So anything you want to share? Anybody you want to give a shout out to as we wrap up here?
I want to give a shout out to the whole distance team, honestly.
Okay.
So we have such a tight friendship on the distance team. I've made all my closest friends through track and field, through cross country.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like Sophia Nelson, Miriam Rule, my sister Anouk.
Do you all, let me ask real quick. So just in general, Coach, and I don't mean to pause, so stay right there. You were naming names, right? You keep fresh over there. But I'm curious, in track and field, is it almost like a compartmentalized where you have field event, and then you got distance runners and sprints? Is there some separation that occurs just from the generalization of practice, and then you have to continue to bring everybody back together?
Yeah. And I mean, just the nature of the sport and the nature of how you have to work out, yes, that's going to happen, because when the distances workout is completely different from the sprinters,
right?
The time of them, it's hard, but making sure that everyone, warms up the same, does everything the same there. And then, as long as we're ending at the same time, doing team abs at the end. Yeah. But that is a challenge to try to, make sure that it always feels like a whole complete team.
Certainly.
Definitely.
Because you all don't see the field event kids very much, do you?
No.
I don't know. Is that
matter of fact, shout out to the throwers. Shout out to all the jumpers.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in the practice, you don't really see them probably, right? And then even at most track meets, they're performing at a time when runners are still kind of in their warm up mode. Is that fair to say also?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're giving the distance runners some love. That's where you were at. Yes. I apologize. That was like that break in the moment, because I needed my own brain needed an understanding just kind of the flow, right? Because track practice is different. You know what I mean? So I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, just like Catherine was saying, having fun.
Yeah.
I run because I love running. I love running with the people I run with.
Yeah.
So just bonding and having that time together makes it all easier.
Well, Hey, look. So let me share with everyone as we start to get out of here. I walked into the studio today, and these two young ladies were like silent. I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to carry this entire show. You all have been a pleasure to have on the show. I really appreciate you. It has been fun to get to know you. Central Ohio and Columbus City Schools is going to enjoy getting to know you a little bit better. You all are the cream of the crop right now in girls track and field in Columbus City Schools. So I don't know what's going to happen or when this show will air, but I wish you all the best for the remainder of this season. I got to say a whole bunch of stuff here to get us off the show. So you all just get to sit there while I kind of read this part right now. But as I said, appreciate you all being guests today. Catch our future episodes on Radio WCBE 90.5 FM. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Look for the show on Spotify, Apple, or the podcast where you prefer to listen to your favorite shows. Follow us on Instagram at City League Sports 614. I'm your host, Dr. Vince Clarino. This fine collection of people here, Whetstone Girls Track, we thank you all today.
Thank you for having us.